but I imagine it looks like it's got some kind of thread pattern on it, and there's like threads going between holes. Model that in there. Not too hard. Take some floating geometry and some toruses and make it happen on a nice flat piece. And like I said, you're probably gonna have to do those flares again. You're gonna have to do these guys over again and model those shapes onto a flat piece and then morph it all together. You're gonna do floating geometry and keep this stuff non-destructible. You have to do it that way. So I'm just gonna grab all of it and then deselect this, delete this. So this is my hole now that I'm working on for that shape. Let me reverse the faces here. Floating geometry hole. Get some bevels in there, make this thing look good. Get two of these guys together. Heck, you know, it has like a pattern where it's kind of offsetting. I don't know if some of those guys are attaching or not. It kind of has like a Z pattern actually. So, you know, that's what I'm going to try to do here is make some kind of weird Z pattern for you. I don't know why this went off into another screen here. This is what it looks like it's doing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Something like that. Take a torus. Let's rotate this guy 90 degrees. Almost there. That's 90. No, you're lying to me now. I think my transforms are off or something. Okay, I guess that's 90. It feels weird, like it's curving somehow. Anyways, coming back to the torus, I don't really need a lot of these heights, so I'm gonna take the heights down a lot. Go for something like that. I don't want to bog down your computers with this stuff. We only need half. We'll detach this guy and come back to half of it. We shrink it down to a good proportion here that's going to work. Okay. Should have made this thicker. Let me, I already lost my transforms on this thing, so I'm just going to use the inflate and just thicken this thing up manually. Because I feel like what needs to happen here is that I'm going to shrink this thing down, but instead of me like scaling this thing to be a little bit wider, so that it hits from hole to hole. What I want it to do here is extrude it instead. So extrude it along the length so you're not stretching your cord out. I'm gonna get this guy lined up the way that I want it to be. I kind of did a little bit too much there. Try to get it to plug that hole up because you don't want to see inside that hole any. Just let it be like a normal map hole effect there. I think this will work. This will do fine. Grab this guy and extrude it. Don't worry about that bottom crap. We'll fix it. And we don't need these guys either. This guy can actually just like flatten out. Just gonna use the scale tool and flatten it so that we're not getting any effects. We can push this thing up against the model pretty close. So that's what I'm gonna try to force here. There's a little bit of that. I think I need to bring this guy up to here and like scale it down a little bit flatter too. And kind of give it more of like a flatter string effect there. And I all of a sudden just remembered too that we have like 2 of these things that need to fit in here at a time. So strategize. Do what you can to get the effect in there. Freeze it, delete history. Do like a shift duplicate. Actually, let me just snap my pivot over here. Let's rotate it. Probably too much. Man, I'm pretty close. I'm pretty close to being even on that one. This guy may need to be shrunk down a little bit in this direction. But I mean, save your scaling, like I said, save your scaling for smaller shape changes, not big ones like elongating this thing, because that's going to mess up your model. All right, and I just need one more of these guys. I'm going to just move my pivot over here. Just rotate you over here. I mean, if I want a good Z, then this guy should be, actually, you know what? I need to just grab this and move it over, because that way it's going to ensure that my angle is the same. No deviation of that. Okay, and then I can line this hole up with where it needs to be.
Is it okay that they're intersecting like that?
Well, I'm going to take a look at that here in a minute. You know, we can do some little squishing. You know, because these guys are compressing into each other, so I'm going to do like a little soft select and just kind of squish them in a little bit evenly. I think my soft select's probably just too big on this stuff, actually. Let me just take it down a little bit more. I just want some mild squeezing happening in there, so these guys look like they're just kind of squeezing into the holes. Little squeeze. A little squeeze. This guy probably needs to be pulled out this way. This guy a little bit this way. Maybe come in a little bit that way. What's important is I only have to do this once, okay? So that's what I'm shooting for here. Once and done on this thing. Okay, so that'll work right there. Soften this up. Soften those bands up so that we get that soft effect in there. And then I grab this guy up and combine it together. Delete some history on this guy. Let's move him around. I'm going to do a Shift D on this guy. See if I can get that spacing right there. Actually, here, let me hold on a minute before I do that Shift D. Get this spacing doing the right thing here. So I'm going, actually, yeah, let me Shift D again. I'm just gonna line this guy up right here. Put that hole there and just delete everything else. And that way that gives me like a little reference point for me to do my Shift D action at. So now I'm gonna do my Shift D and and line it up with that hole so I know it's supposed to be in the right spot, and then just keep hitting Shift D. Keep that stuff going for how long you need it to go. Let's just call it quits on that one. I'm going to, first of all, let me try to find this duplicate guy right here. Delete him. And then try to grab all my stuff going off into space there. It's too big, so that's why it's doing that. I'll combine that together. We'll scale it down. And just like the rim of this cap thing here, I'm going to set it up with a plane. Let me get a cube here. Hang on, I need to kind of zoom in on my cube, and I want to do my adjustments to this thing first before things get too crazy on it. I don't need height, I don't need depth, I think I need width, right? Yeah, and I'm gonna make this thing wider and kind of just set it up like this right now. Get some more of these guys going. And probably I'm gonna need some depth ones too, because we can bend it in two different directions here. But this is gonna be my first flap. Now I can scale it up and put it where I want it to be here. I'll probably save this demonstration for YouTube. It might be worth it. I feel like this is something that would benefit the masses, right?
You gotta make shoelaces.
Yeah, shoelaces, that too. Okay, so I've got all this stuff together here. Gonna combine it together now. It doesn't, I don't think it has to be combined together, but you can. It makes it a little bit simpler. Come over to that deformer now. This thing's all crooked because I did this thing at a weird angle. But whatever, we'll get the job done. All right, wrap this thing around. We got one direction there that we're wrapping around. And then I'll do one more where we're getting kind of like a bend happening there too. Actually, let me rotate this guy this way, because that's kind of the effect that you want, is something more like this, where we're bending in that way.
Yeah.
But, you know, honestly, I need to do this bend first here. So let me bend it this way first and kind of get it to a curved shape before I get too far. I need to like bring this guy in so the scale on that curve goes down a little bit more, and my curvature is just way too deep. Let's just give it a subtle little roundness like that. Save my history, or delete my history, and do that deformer again. But this time I'm going to go for that other shape though. Just all right, and curve it. Build up that curvature. Just kind of rotate it to be the right shape, whatever you need it to be. Once it's good, delete the history, and now you've got that shape locked in and ready to go. It's rotating all weird, but whatever. Try to get it back to try to bring it back into reality here. So I mean, this stuff is, if you do it the right way, you can get it done. All right. I know that, you know, I'm definitely an instructor. I know what I'm doing. So, you know, if you guys are doing or trying to do something that I'm doing, it might take you like twice as long just to kind of pick it up and to watch the video or whatever you're doing, but it can still be done. Freeze my transforms, and maybe this thing will be locked in to like a good nah, it's not lined up. Whatever. Okay. And the same thing goes with these guys. These plates are coming from the inside. And the same thing goes for this one here. The plates are probably coming from the inside of the model. So just treat that like another shape too, okay? Let it come from the inside and let it just be another shape. The little flap that overlaps it is probably going to cover it up anyway, so just get the proportions right on it. See if you can do some of this stuff.
Yeah, the one that on the right photo is, they're like really tiny.
Yeah, they're tinier, but they probably still do come from the inside and kind of flap out a little bit.
Actually, I couldn't tell if they were connected to the flap or not. Kind of hard.
That's the problem with picking something that's low resolution like that, so you know, picking stuff like this where we have better photos of the reference, then that's going to give you more security with your model.
I think because it had the most out of all the photos I could find.
Yeah, it's got a lot of reference. I'll give you that. Just reset this thing. There, that's what was wrong. It's got a lot of good reference to it, but it's got a lot of reference, but it's not all good reference. For your stuff, I think like proportions like this are probably where we're at, or where we should be. And if you need to flare some stuff out, you can do that too, where we just grab some vertices and come over to soft select and do like volume instead of surface. That way it's grabbing everything. And you can kind of flare some stuff out if you need to. Maybe this thing's got a little bit of a dip to it, you know. Soft select. Can do some of these guys. Now, I don't think that threading's on each of these things. And I don't know how this thing layers, whether it layers like this one where it's the outside in, or it's you know, vice. You know, it might not be doing this. It's probably doing the other one, the way that I showed you earlier to do this, where this stuff is probably scaling. And if you do smart duplicate, it'll scale things too. Just don't unselect that mesh when you're moving it. Don't unselect it, and it'll keep that thing going.
What? Smart duplicate is just Shift D, right?
Yeah, Shift D. It'll keep all those transforms going to whatever you put in there. As long as you don't deselect off of the model, it'll save all the transform history and just continue it going.